being Tamil is being proud. When I was younger, I was a bit embarrassed to be Tamil because I did grow up in Staten Island. I met people who were like, "Oh my god, I love Tamil music. I love Surya. I love Danush." I would be like, "Oh my god, you know what Tamil is?" Like, I remember I had to pay my sister. I was like, "Please be in this TikTok with me." Bharatanatyam is the foundation of all the other styles that I've learned. I was this 10-year-old Tamil girl on the school bus in 6th grade with my iPod Nano, listening to Temperature and Run It, and Jason Derulo. I remember this one comment specifically. She was a friend of mine, and she specifically wrote under my video, "The real Krish is coming out." I want to teach workshops to meet new people and to bring out Tamil people and just expand on the community. I was always like, I want to be like Toronto. I want to be like the Tamil community in London or parts of Europe.
Welcome to the arrambam show, and excited to welcome Krish into our first season.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I am super excited, and I am ready to spill all the tea and all the details.
Yeah, I'm amped. This is fun because like when we think about like arrambam as like, of course, like the Tamil meetups and the dance workshops, you've been there, I think, to pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
And like helped us get started on a variety of things, especially the dance workshops. So it's awesome to have you on the podcast and to kick things off. But let's get started. I think most people who'd likely be listening to this or watching this know who you are. But for the rest of the world, who is Krish?
I am a Tamil creative, and I am also a dancer in the New York City community.
That's awesome. So a little bit of everything.
Yes.
So when we say New York City, you're like from New York City.
Born and raised. I was born and raised in Staten Island, and then I lived in Queens for a while for school and work. And now I'm back in Staten Island, and I'm just everywhere, honestly. I'm in Manhattan, I'm in Brooklyn, I'm in Staten Island, I'm just everywhere.
So tell me the story. What does being Tamil mean to you?
What does being Tamil mean to me? Honestly, it's part of me. It's my identity. It has evolved over the years, but being Tamil when I was like younger and being Tamil now, honestly, has evolved positively. So to answer your question, I think being Tamil is being proud.
Being proud of the culture?
Being proud of the culture, being proud of my language, being proud of my people. Just like full-on pride.
Yeah. So let's dig into that a bit. So you said it's evolved over time.
Oh yeah.
What does that mean? Like, what was it, let's say, before growing up, it seems, to what is it now?
When I was younger, I'm going to be completely honest, I was a bit embarrassed to be Tamil because I did grow up in Staten Island. And of course, nobody knows when you tell people, when they ask you, like, what's your ethnicity or what's your, what language do you speak? I would say Tamil. And 90% of the time, people would be like, oh, like, what is that? Like, what country is that?
So this is growing up, because I feel like there's a lot of Tamils in Staten Island now.
Yes, there is, but when I grew up, I wasn't really close with the Tamil community when I was younger. I would just be close with whoever I went to school with. When I went to school, I didn't really know anyone Tamil. I just really knew just people from my dance class and then like my family friends. But that was like a very small circle. So yeah, I wasn't very proud when I was little. I would really just expose my Tamil self in my house. But then outside of my house, I would just my main goal was like fit in. Not even just to like be like, yeah, like I'm Tamil and I speak this and I like to eat this and I like to do Bharatanatyam and I like to listen to Tamil music. Like people were so like caught up on like other things, like other aspects of South Asian culture, like Bollywood. So it was just like, okay, I think in order to fit in, like I need to be into Bollywood. So I felt like I am a huge Bollywood fanatic. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, of course.
But that's not my identity, right? That's not like where my family's from. That's not like that part of India or that part of Sri Lanka. Like, so it back then I was just like, my main focus was to fit in and like maybe keep it on the low, like I was Tamil or I was Sri Lankan Tamil. But I think maybe after college, that's when I was like more involved in my culture, and I was just figuring myself out. And one part of figuring myself out was to dive into my Tamil heritage, my Tamil culture, and just spread that as well to other people, because in college I was exposed to more South Asians, more South Indians specifically, compared to like in Staten Island.
And where'd you go to school?
I went to St. John's.
St. John's, okay.
Yeah, so St. John's had like a huge South Asian community. So I loved it. I loved the community. I was happy that I was with people I could relate to and people that could relate to me, compared to going to school in Staten Island, which of course I still loved going to like my school in Staten Island. I love my Staten Island friends, but I figured myself out and learned more about myself when I started going to college. And I met people, and after that, I got more comfortable with who I am, and I got more comfortable with my ethnicity and being Tamil, because I met people who were like, oh my God, I love Tamil music. Like, I love Surya, I love Danush. Oh my God, I love all these songs. So I would be like, oh my God, like what Tamil is? Like,
yeah.
Like what?
You don't have to explain it.
Like I have to explain
right.
it. I didn't have to tell people, oh yeah, like Tamil, it's a language spoken in most cities in South India, as well as Sri Lanka. And it was just great. Like, I love educating people, but it did feel nice to feel like I was someone, like they knew what Tamil was. They knew what part of like what city spoke Tamil, they knew what it is, right, in the language.
There's like shared experiences, shared knowledge that you don't. That's like you get over time living at home, living with the culture, right? That you don't have to teach to people, right?
Exactly. Okay. And that helped me open myself up more and be confident with who I am. So that was just like the middle, right? So I went.
So that was college.
Yeah, it's college. Okay. Went from me being like embarrassed to be Tamil to me being okay. Like now, like I'm proud of who I am.
You can be who you are.
Yeah, I can be who I am. I could say whatever I want to say and just be confident on that. And then post-college, we had the pandemic.
Of course.
So we were mostly home at most of the time. And we didn't really have, I personally didn't, I was always home. Like I wasn't out a lot. So I couldn't really talk to people or hang out with people. But I feel like the pandemic definitely was a positive impact and the start of my creative journey. I got back into dancing and I would always just be alone in my room and I'd be like, let me like start dancing again. But like not like Bharatanatyam, because I've been a Bharatanatyam dancer, but let me like start doing other things that I had passion for, other styles. And TikTok, of course, became like a huge thing during the pandemic. So that's where everyone got their culture news and their influences and everything.
And they saw everyone dancing.
Everyone dancing.
Yeah.
All these trends started popping. I downloaded TikTok and I posted my first TikTok.
When was this?
This was during the pandemic. This is like, I think, definitely like in the summer during the pandemic. And I was in my house and me and my sister, we danced to, I forgot what song it was, but it was a Kuttupattu.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I remember
like a new song or an old song?
No, it was an old song. I forgot what song it was. I can honestly pull up the video if you want, but I remember I had to like pay my sister. I was like, please be in this TikTok with me.
No way.
Yeah, because I didn't want to do it alone. Like,
of course.
I was like, damn, this is my first TikTok video. So I had to pull my sister.
Yeah.
And it's actually on my Instagram too. And I paid my sister. I was like, Johnny, please like film with me. Like, film this
How much did you pay her? That's a real question.
Like $20 on it.
No way. Damn. That is highway robbery right there. That's what.
Yes. we filmed it.
Yeah.
And we posted it. And I actually posted it on TikTok and Instagram.
Okay.
And that's when everyone was like, oh my God, Krish, like, keep doing this. Like, keep dancing.
That's
we want to
awesome.
see more of this.
That's awesome.
And more people noticed. And honestly, I was like also afraid to post it, not only because like it was my first reel or it was my first dance related TikTok, but I was just afraid because it was to a kutupate, right? Or
fair.
A lot of people, or I didn't think a lot of my followers knew or would be interested in like me dancing to something that's not a Bollywood song.
Sure.
Right?
That's
or
fair.
That's not
that's
like
fair.
An American Western song.
And that's primarily because all the dance videos we saw at the time, or even before the pandemic, were always Bollywood songs, right?
Yeah.
Which is not a problem,
right.
But there was never a Tamil song. So I understand.
Yeah, so I posted that, and I was like, I remember like I gave my sister the phone. I was like, just press share, just press post. Like I don't even want to like look at it. And she pressed it. And then everyone started commenting, viewing, liking, and I feel like the comments and everyone's feedback really like motivated me to continue posting and continue like not even just posting, but continue posting and dancing to Tamil music.
Nice.
So I was like, okay, now I want to post another one. Like I feel good. Like this is fun.
Absolutely.
I felt good being noticed and felt good spreading my culture.
Of course.
And then I just kept doing more and more, and people started noticing more. Following grew a bit more. Everywhere I went, people would be like, "Oh, I saw your video. Like that was so cool. Like I didn't even know you could dance like that. I didn't even know like what like song was that? That song, I want to add that to my like gym playlist." And I was like, "Okay, yeah.
Why not?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it just became a consistent thing.
And so these people, just to confirm, I mean, of course, your Tamil friends and family probably watching and supporting, but it was like most of these people I assume are non-Tamil.
Oh yeah, like I had like my work friends, I had like my college friends, high school friends, like even just like random people that I've never even met, but I know they were like not Tamil. Like they would just be like, "This is such a good, cool song. Like, this is such a good song. This is really good. So energetic. Like the style is very like, like I said, very energetic."
Right.
And I got a couple of DMs. I was like, they were like, "Oh, what style is this?
Yeah.
Oh, do you teach this?
Right.
You should like post a tutorial on this." And I was like, I don't know about that.
Hey, we'll get into that, but I think you really embraced it. I like that. Nice. So let's go into the dance topic more, and especially of course, all the dances you've created on Instagram. And when I think about when I first like learned about you, it was through Shanti, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, "Hey, this dope Tamil girl does these dope songs and like, dope dances to dope songs. Check it out." And I was like, "Yo, this is fire."
I'm dope.
And then we met at her birthday, and then everything else after that. But where did that like all start? I mean, you gave us a sneak peek into the first dance. You paid your sister to do it with you, right? So what was the inspiration of just dancing? So I know you briefly mentioned you did Bharatanatyam. Was that kind of the first form of dance you learned?
Yeah, so that was the first form. I started doing Bharatanatyam when I was around the age of like 4 or 5.
Okay.
And I consistently did Bharatanatyam until up to the age of 18, like when I moved out for college. Right. But
did you end up doing an engagement?
No, I didn't do a debut.
Okay.
But I was like almost done, basically done.
Nice.
But because of like school and college, like
of course,
got in the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bharatanatyam was like the foundation of my dance journey. And honestly, I didn't really think that I would even be consistent in Bharatanatyam, because I feel like a lot of people that start like Indian classical dance, it's really hard to be consistent with it because it's not like an easy style.
Right.
It's
takes a lot of time and training.
It's a very strict style. There's a lot of discipline put into Bharatanatyam. So it's not just whether you know the steps, whether you learn the style, but you have to add your own discipline. You have to add your own. Basically, you just have to be very, what's the word? Like, I can't even think of the word.
Precise with it?
Not precise, but you have to be like, you have to say like, okay, if I'm going to start this, I'm going to continue this.
Okay. Yeah.
Because That's honestly,
the commitment to it has to exist.
It takes a lot of commitment to stick to it, but at the end it's so worth it because like I said, Bharatanatyam is the foundation of all the other styles that I've learned and caught up on. So I am definitely grateful for learning Bharatanatyam and my gurus and my mom that was like, you need to do Bharatanatyam because you need to be that typical South Asian girl that does Indian classical dance.
Right.
And I was like, I wasn't really like one of those people that were like, I don't want to do this. I was like, you know what, let me do it. Why not?
Yeah.
But I loved it. I love Bharatanatyam. Nice. I love the stories it tells. I love the meaning behind it. I love everything about it. So I'm definitely very proud with that. And from there, that's when I started picking up other styles like hip hop and jazz.
And you did that like through classes, or did you just do that by yourself?
So I took a few classes, like hip hop. I didn't do jazz. I just did hip hop.
Okay.
Like my parents put me in hip hop classes, like a few, maybe like for like a few months, and then I had like one recital, and that's it.
Okay.
But I feel like that also helped me.
Oh, and this was while you were in like as a kid or in high school?
This is when I was a kid.
Oh, along with Bharatanatyam.
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
And then everything else I just like picked up from watching YouTube videos, and watching TV and watching movies.
Yeah.
And just like picking up certain moves from like the music videos and stuff.
Replicating the dance moves.
Yeah, like I would watch, I think my biggest like non-South Asian inspo was definitely Chris Brown. Like
really? That's hilarious. Okay.
I was like,
what songs out of curiosity?
I'm not gonna lie, like I had my iPod Nano.
Okay.
I was like 10 years old.
Okay.
Whatever. I had my iPod Nano. I had like Sean Paul. I was 10 years old. I was like this 10-year-old fob-looking Tamil girl on the school bus in 6th grade with my iPod Nano, listening to Temperature and Run It, and Jason Derulo, like all these like classic songs. Like I had like old J-Lo, old like Pussycat Dolls, like all of them. And I would watch their music videos and I would just be in my room and I had like my webcam and I would just like record myself like dancing to their songs.
That's awesome.
And I would just rewatch it. And I wish I had that webcam. Like I wish.
Do you have the videos?
I don't. I wish I had that computer back because I would love to watch.
You could post those up as like throwback to Krish from like whatever 20 years ago to like, hey, I'm recreating the dance now, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
That would be cool.
I wish, yeah. But yeah, Chris Brown was definitely an inspo. Run It. His Run It song was, I think, my first video that I saw, and I wanted to recreate his dance. And from there, that's when I like started getting more into like the hip hop style and got into listening to more artists like Chris Brown. And just exposing myself to that style. But yeah, and then eventually I started mixing those steps with like Tamil songs, and I would just like be in my room dancing.
So then let's fast forward to when you started posting on social media, and then to everything else, to then starting dance workshops. What was that like? Of course, what was the inspiration behind you wanted to post? And I think that takes, talking to a lot of different creators, as all of you will see, right, is like that initial post is the hardest part, right? It's like putting yourself out there, publishing all these creative content, right, that we're creating. Like, again, the first one is always the hardest. What was the onus to do that?
Honestly, I saw so many people on my TikTok feed posting dance videos, and it would be like all different styles, Bharatanatyam, Bhangra, hip hop, like contemporary, and I didn't feel confident that I would be good enough. But I did have a lot of my close friends, my dance friends. They would be like, you should post like just one video, and I just told myself, okay, let me post this one video. And once it picked up, I feel like when people like comment and like say like good things about your video and just keep pushing you and be like, oh, we want to see more. Like I remember this one comment specifically, and I don't want to say who said it, but she was like, a friend of mine, and she specifically wrote under my video. She wrote, "The real Krish is coming out."
Hey, yo,
And
that's real.
I was like, I feel good. I feel like this is me. I always wanted to be this open and fun and creative person. Like I was always like, I feel like I was always like, I always had a creative mindset. I was always afraid to showcase it, whether it was not only like dancing, it's like arts, painting, drawing, dancing, or the like just speaking, like anything. I would always have like creative ideas, but I was always afraid to showcase it. Like I said, when that girl said the real Krish is coming out, and then she wrote like, "We want to see more." I was like, this comment, she's right.
She's right.
That's when I just started posting more. I was like, she's right. Let me bring out the real Krish.
Yeah, and let's show the world.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And the step into the next phase of that is, my understanding is you've gone to a lot of dance workshops,
Yeah.
and then you started doing your own dance workshops and really just like kicking it. Now it's like every few weeks you have a dance workshop. Like
Yeah, I have one workshop every month.
One workshop every month.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. What's the inspiration behind that? What was like the, hey, let's start teaching? Was it from a perspective of sharing your choreo, sharing the culture? What was the thinking?
So I honestly didn't even start dancing to creating my own choreo until like I think 2022.
Oh, really? Okay.
Before that, I would just post like covers or trends.
And replicating choreos that were trending? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I remember somebody reposted a workshop, like a flyer workshop in New York City, and it was Bollywood workshop. And that's when this was at a time, like I was in like a very, not like, I wouldn't say depressed, but I was just very lonely and I didn't know what to do with my life type stage. Because it was the pandemic. And I was like, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
I just graduated. I don't have a job. And I'm just sitting in my room. So I was like, fine, let me go to this workshop and let me get into dancing. Like, let me get in and bring back that part of me. So it was actually one of my mentors' classes, Vinny Hazari. Love her. She is such a talented human being. And I went to her class for the first time. And we danced to Buddy Mushikil. And it was so fun. And I met new people. And it was so fun. And it kind of like, I don't know, once I went to that class, I wanted to go to more. Like, I feel like going to a dance workshop in New York City, like, once you go to one, like, you're going to want to keep going to
That's true.
More. Like,
you don't stop.
Tattoo.
Yeah, of course.
Like, once you get one tattoo, like, you want to get more tattoos. Like, it's like once you go to one New York City dance workshop, you want to go to more.
True.
And that's exactly what I did. I started off going to one every month, to one every 2 weeks, to like two every week. For like a couple months, it was only Vinny's workshops that I went to, and then I started learning about other instructors and other styles. Bhangra, Bollywood fusion, Bollywood jazz, street jazz, took like a couple of contemporary, and that's when I just started picking up on these styles.
And the best part is New York City has all those different styles available in terms of workshops, right?
Yes, for sure. Like I've never seen any other city or any other country that has this many styles taught in like one city, like New York City. And like I said, New York, no one does it better than New York City.
Of course.
Especially when it comes to the dance community. Yeah, I picked up on all these styles and I told myself I want to learn all these styles and I want to become this efficient dancer. Like that was my goal. And I started setting these goals. Like I was like, okay, I want to be consistent on this. And that's what I did. And for 2 years, I just went to classes consistently.
And when did you start creating your own choreo? Was that during that time?
2022. Yeah, 2022.
Nice.
I posted my first, like, my own. It was a Sean Paul Bollywood mix.
Nice.
And it was like a Bollywood street jazz type style. That was a style I was really picking up on at the time.
Okay.
Before any other styles.
Okay. And that's similar to what you continue to do, like Tamil, jazz, street jazz.
Yeah, not even Tamil. This is like jazz Bollywood.
Makes sense.
My next my own choreography
Yeah.
type video. That's when I started the Tamil Afro.
What was your first Tamil choreo?
My first Tamil choreo was I danced to Ottayari Padiyale. And I feel like that's like such like a classic slow song. But I found a sped up version on TikTok and I heard it and I was like, oh, this is so good. And then I remember my mom was like making vade in the kitchen for the Pungal program.
Oh, really?
And I was just like, try to create like a dance. And I kept asking my mom for her opinion, like, what do you think of this dance or whatever? And yeah, I was already in a sari and I wanted to dance in a sari.
Okay.
I came up with the little dance, and then after the Pongal show, I took my sister to like the back of the auditorium, and I was like, "Hey, can you film me do this
Yeah.
dance?" And she filmed me, and I posted it, and everyone they were like, "Oh my god, like Krishna sorry dancing! Oh my god, we need." I remember somebody said, "We need to see more videos of Krishna sorry dancing," and I remember Sujiva was like, I agree with this. I second this. Yes, like,
Oh, that's awesome.
and yeah, so that was like but that was like a very girly, like Tamil Ponnu type choreography, and it was also like I think like 30 seconds or 25 seconds. It's very short, but it was just fun. Like just coming up with it, filming in a sari, posting it, getting such amazing feedback, and then I just started posting more videos. I think my next video after that was when I started getting more into Tamil Afro. And
Which I want to talk about. That's a really interesting intersection.
yeah, so Tamil Afro, I love talking about how I got into Tamil Afro because it's a genre that like people don't really think about, right? Like obviously people know of like Tamil songs with hip hop, Tamil songs with like R&B, but Tamil and Afro. And I always tell people like I feel like Tamil Afro needs its own genre. Like that's its own genre. And how it started was I was on TikTok and all these DJs and music producers would post like mixes and just like put their mixes out there and be more public. And I was on that side TikTok.
Tamil X Afro beats.
Yeah. Tamil X Afro. See all these Tamil DJs from all around the world, like London, Toronto, Singapore, India, Sri Lanka. Like it's crazy. Like these people are so talented. And I'm like how do you mesh this? Like this is so good. And I've always been a huge SoundCloud head. Like I am SoundCloud over Spotify. Like I love SoundCloud because it involves like people's authentic side of producing music, right? Like them mixing songs. So I just love hearing that.
Limitations.
Exactly. Like they are free to do whatever they want and they mix whatever they want. And it sounds so good. So I found this one mix by He's actually a music producer slash DJ based in Switzerland.
Is this Janat R?
Yes, Janat R. And I saw his mix specifically, and it was Bay and Rush. And which Bay by Aditya RK and Anirudh from the movie Dawn, right? Yeah, Dawn.
Which we had the privilege of seeing Aditya RK actually performing
Yes.
live to all of us in
Yeah.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Rush by Ira Star, which is the Afro song.
Okay.
And I was like, I love both of these songs. And Bay is a very slow song, right? So I would have never thought Bay would go with Rush. But he made it work and I became obsessed. And I remember I was like looking for him on SoundCloud. Like, I need to find this guy on SoundCloud. Like, he better post his mix. So I could add it to my SoundCloud playlist.
That's awesome.
I found it and it was just on repeat. And then I started like coming up with moves and dancing to it. And then that's when I was like, I want to come up with like a full on choreography to this. Little did I know that everyone was going to be so into it. I was like, let me just play around with it. And then I played around with it. I posted it and people were obsessed. Everyone was like, this mix is amazing. Choreography was awesome.
Confirm on that choreography, right? Tamil moves, but also some Afro moves too.
Yes,
right?
it's Afro moves as well.
Right.
And yeah, I posted it and everyone, they weren't even like just amazed by the choreography, but they were amazed by the idea of Tamil and Afro and the combination and the vibes it brings. So that's when I was like I love Afro music and I love Tamil music. So that's when I was like, okay, I want to like expand on this, right? I want to expand on Tamil Afro and I want to just expose that genre to the world. And not just my choreographies, but all these talented producers on TikTok and DJs that I see, I want to expose them to.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm all about spreading Tamil talent. Like if I see someone and you're Tamil and you got talent, like I will support you 100% and I will do anything I can to bring you to the top. So that's what I did. And that's when Tamil Afro journey started.
It's interesting. Of course, you love Tamil music.
Yeah.
You got into Afro music independently of Tamil music. And
Yeah.
you realized the intersection of it, even
Exactly. And
right?
Afro music was growing at the time.
Yeah.
During the pandemic was when Afro beats was a
Became a
thing
thing,
and
right.
people got into it a lot and it
Now
grew.
it's mainstream.
Yeah, it grew so quick. Now everyone's listening to Afro beats. You got Burna Boy, Wizkid, Ira
Right.
Star, Tyler,
Yeah.
like all these people. So it's amazing. Honestly, it's so amazing.
It's incredible. What inspired you to take this choreo that you did for yourself to workshops and creating your own workshops?
My main goal was to bring some sort of Tamil culture into the dance community because at the time it was all Bollywood. Like everyone I saw was Bollywood instructors, Bollywood songs, Bollywood styles, which I wasn't mad about. Like I am, like I said, Bollywood fanatic, but like I am Tamil. I want to bring my culture, my identity to New York City somehow.
Absolutely.
Okay, and that's when, like I said, I I started posting dance videos to Tamil songs, Tamil music, and I wanted to spread Tamil music to everyone, not just the Tamil community, but outside of Tamil community. And I feel like that's when people start picking up on the culture and just having Tamil being known as a language, as a culture. I want Tamil representation to be present. So that was my goal. And I wanted to start teaching workshops. And I was just so scared though. I was scared. I was like, are people going to come to class? That was my number one thing because I didn't know.
You were only doing the choreos and stuff.
But I was not aware of the amount of Tamil people or the amount of South Indians in New York. So I told myself, if I'm going to do this, will people show up? That's obviously everyone's first worry when you're teaching your first dance workshop. Like, are people going to show up? So that was what kind of held me back. And then that's when I met Shanti and you started arrambam. And Shanti wanted to teach dance workshops and she wanted me to teach a workshop and kind of start that for me, which I'm extremely grateful for. So that's when I started arrambam workshop. And of course, like I said, I was very nervous, but we had a sold out class. And on top of that, like I remember when I saw the list, I was like, there's no way all these people.
And it was non-Tamils too.
Yeah. Like it was a mix of people. And I was like, there's no way these people want to come learn Tamil Afro. Like, no way. Absolutely not. This is no. And then Shanti's like, but
I didn't even know Tamil Afro was
right.
Until you were like, we're doing this.
Yeah.
This is the song.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is a lie.
But like not even just like Tamil Afro, just like who wants to dance to a Tamil song?
That's true.
I was like, damn, like we have Tamil people in New York. When I walked into that studio and I saw everyone, and I remember people were like, you know, I think I put, just before like we started the workshop, I just put on some music to vibe to. And I put Girlfriend from the movie Boys. Yeah. And everyone came up to me and they were like, I love this song. Oh my God, I love this song. I love this movie, blah, blah. And I was like, you know this song? And they're like, of course. Like, I'm Tamil. Of course, girl. Come on. And I was like, what? You're Tamil? Like, there are Tamil people living, like, in New York, like, outside of Staten Island or whatever. So I was so shook. I was like, wow, like, people know this song.
Yeah, of course.
And then during the workshop, I was trying to like translate the lyrics, and people were like helping me translate the lyrics, like the Tamil lyrics. And I was like, wow, like, well, like, you live in New York? Like, where have you been?
All this time.
And that's when I realized that I don't want to teach workshops to spread Tamil culture, but I want to teach workshops to meet new people and to bring out Tamil people and just expand on the community. Because I know the people that came to that class, they told me, I didn't even know there were Tamil people living in New York until I found your workshop. And I was so excited. I had to come out. And even I remember this one girl, she hit me up like a few months later and she told me, oh my God, I think I met my best friend through that workshop. And now we are roommates. We got an apartment together. And I was like, that is awesome for you. Like that. So I love bringing people together, bringing the community together. Yeah. And that's what this is all about. Right. It's not only about teaching dance, it's about bringing the community together. And I honestly learned so much from that because I just became more proud of who I am as a Tamilan. And I became proud of this community that I'm building, but we are all building together.
Of course.
And I was like, damn, like New York City is a Tamil hub. Okay, like we're starting. Like this is real.
We are the Tamil hub of America.
Yes. Yes. Because nobody knew. Like New York had Tamil people. Like everyone, even outside of New York, people would hit me up and be like, I didn't even know there were Tamil people in New York. And I was like, there are. Like we're not Toronto or London, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
I mean, across America, we have enough people. At least amongst our generation, we haven't had the opportunity.
Yes, like correct. Yeah.
I mean, that's amazing. Here, you're saying it's true. Everything we all want to do, everyone, all the Tamil creators we're talking to, on the show and are part of the New York community, the larger arrambam community.
Yeah.
This is exactly what. Can we bring the community together? From our point of view, we started doing the Tamil meetups. Shanti was like, workshop. Like, yep, you're right. At the same time, a lot of people were like, why isn't there Tamil dance workshops? Like, we're going to all these workshops. Yeah. And I remember it was the first one that she did that was sold out. And your one was just like, okay. It's like another sold out workshop was like, okay, this is validation. Second time around. And like people are coming out to this. It wasn't just like the first one was Kalafala, which Shanti killed.
Yeah. Killer choreography.
Killed the choreography.
So many people popped out.
Classic song.
Yeah. But it was like a party. It wasn't even a workshop at that point. Yeah. It was just a party.
Everyone was
dancing. Yeah, it was such a vibe.
I mean, and then you Bay Rush. The first one was like, okay, it's not just Tamil songs that everyone knows, but it's also these, let's say, more unique songs that like have to be tapped in to discover the songs.
Yeah.
But people are willing to risk, which allows us the possibility of not just Tamil movie centric. That's one thing that's interesting when you think about like when the parties and think about what people
right.
Okay, for sure the Tamil fingers, the arrambam, all these guys, yes, of course they're gonna hit. Because why wouldn't they hit for the songs? But now I think it's becoming more of a reality, which what at least in our point of view, clear until the workshop. Songs by independent artists or DJs could be something that the community embraces and becomes a vibe they to a party to.
Yes. Yeah. I 100% agree. Like I feel like this is like a new level. Like we're at a new level. We're building this community and we're just being noticed. Like we are being noticed. The representation, most importantly, is thriving. It's there. I'm just really excited for what you and Arrambam and Shanti and just everyone on the team is going to bring the next couple months.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun.
Of course, with
It's gonna be so fun.
Shiva and Vidushan.
Oh, I'm so
That'll
excited.
be
I'm
new maximum
yes.
point, like the global max point. That'll be like the next level.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
so excited for that. Like,
Yeah.
I love that, especially like these past like couple of years. Like you said, it's not just about like Tamil bangers and stuff, but Tamil independent music is
It's
freaking
becoming real now, but we
freaking
can
growing.
go straight.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm excited about that. Okay, so what we want to do is let's talk about, like, let's say more broadly, Tamil culture, music and dance, of course, but anything else is like, I know you're always pretty tapped. And, I mean, of course, with the Afrobeat, the Tamil intersection, like, at least for me and for many others, that Tamil community here, you helped introduce that. Kind of, I'm curious, what do you see as like new, let's say, fusion parts of Tamil culture, maybe even outside of music and dance, you're super excited about? Chris?
I am super excited. Honestly, this is gonna sound weird, but I don't care. I'm gonna say it anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just excited about what our older generation, like our parents and our family, thinks about what we're doing.
From what angle?
Like you know how there's like Tamil sangams,
Of
right?
course.
And that's like our families or like the older generation, our parents or
Yeah.
whomever. They're like the ones that are in charge of that or
Right.
controlling that. And then now I feel like we're becoming of that age where we're already independent. We're already doing our own thing. We're already creating this community. So what's the next step from there? Like, are we going to become like our parents where we're creating like Tamil sangams and creating all these events, not just in Manhattan, but like in other boroughs or in other parts of the city, these programs, bringing in talent from everywhere. Like, are we going to become like that? So I think what I'm excited for is whether we just showing off that what we're doing now to our elders. And I think it's really important because we've been influenced by our elders, right? Like with what they do. So I'm just excited to show that influence and prove to our elders that you guys have taught us and now it's our turn. It's our turn to bring the culture that you guys put upon us to bring that to the next generation, which of course you're doing that with arrambam, right? You're creating this space and you're going to grow on that. And like I'm doing with dance and other stuff. So yeah, to answer your question, I think I'm excited for is to just prove to our elders that even though we were born and raised in America, like Tamil is our pride. Being Tamil is our pride.
Of course.
So we could do what you did. We could bring the Tamil community together as well. And we're going to continue doing that even to the next generation.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. I think twist to that also is we're going to do our own.
Of course.
Because we grew up.
Hell yeah.
Tamil, listening to in the days like Ale Raja, as the OG SPB, RIP,
yeah.
RIP, SPB, Uni Christian is like the classics.
Yep.
We're carrying us on road trips and just
Super Singer. We ate and breathed Super Singer Junior and Super Singer. That was like the show.
To that point, and what you were sharing about your story, it's like we also grew up
right
with fully just Western culture, and in that the American flavor of it. Right now, we're at the intersection of Tamil American culture, which is very different. With Tamil culture that exists even in places like Toronto or London.
Oh yeah, for sure.
As like kind of the two prime examples, we're like to say different, but we're slightly our unique flavor.
Right.
Things. At that point, it's not just what we're doing, but it's what's going to be new and unique about the way we create experiences.
Yeah.
That wasn't what parents would have done or are doing.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be our own flavor of what we see Tamil culture as.
Yeah, 100%.
I assume they would have never done double Afrobeats.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right.
They haven't conducted Tamil workshops or party hangouts.
Yeah, exactly. Until like 4 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So knowing that you're pretty tapped into double culture, of course, with music and dance, as we talked about, and of course the creator community, I feel like you discover a lot of new people through like reels or people you
Oh yeah.
check this out. And I'm like,
Mhm.
this is dope. I'm curious now. You've taken that leap as double creator, posting your first dance video, and of course doing the workshops now. Assume so much more beyond just what advice do you have to other, let's say, double creators who are now just getting started or people who want to express themselves creatively? What advice do you have for them?
I think the number one thing I would say is don't be afraid. Like, even if you feel afraid, like, just say, fuck it, let me do it. Like, that's what I would say. Do it. And once you do it, be consistent with it. Don't be like, I'm going to post it and I don't see any results. No one's commenting. People are probably judging behind their screen. Like, cut that crap. Like, don't think like that. Be consistent. Because if you be consistent, if you manifest, and if you put your all into it, you will get there and you will see results and people will notice and people will keep watching you and give you feedback. And it feels good. Like it feels good to be known. It feels good to see that other Tamil people are sitting on their phones like, oh my God, I love seeing more content that is Tamil related.
Yeah.
So I could relate. Like I love seeing this. And just be true to yourself. Don't do things because it's trending. Don't do things because it's what people are getting into now. Like be the trend.
Yeah.
And that's the mindset I had. Like I was afraid to post Tamil related content because I didn't really follow a lot of Tamil people and I didn't even know if people would be interested in this content.
Mm.
I was like, should I post a Bollywood song or should I do a Tamil song? Like that was the question.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know what? Like I love Bollywood, but I need to show more of my identity.
Mhm.
And that's when I got into posting Tamil dance content and Tamil content in general and reposting these Tamil mixes and Tamil songs. And that's what people noticed more and more and picked up on it and appreciated it so much. And I was like, I love the positive impact I'm getting. And this is literally what I love. Like, this is what I wanted. This is the result I wanted. So, like I said, you will see the results and you'll just grow on that. You'll grow on it and you'll get there. That's the advice.
That's amazing. I think that makes a lot of sense from reading back what you're saying. It's one, it's being authentic to who you are.
Mhm.
I think one thing that we get stuck in is instead of being authentic, creating, let's say, content or yourself with the things you like, oh, what do other people like? What's going to get the most views?
Yeah, that's the difficult part. That is the difficult part because sometimes you do want to post things like it's always the question is, do I want to post things I want to post or I want to do, or do I want to post things that other people want to see?
So how do you strike that balance?
Honestly, I have not striked it. Like I still struggle with that.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm trying to plan content for the next month or the next coming weeks, I would tell myself, okay, should I dance? Should I post a video in a sari? Should I post a video doing a song that's not Tamil related? Should I post like a Western American song? Should I do this trend, this Chris Brown trend that everyone is obsessed with? Should I post a video doing this certain hook step that I honestly do not like at all, but everyone is doing it, but it's getting views. So should I post it? Like, I don't even know, honestly. I still don't know.
Okay.
I do try really hard to stay true to myself.
Yeah.
But obviously the thing is if you want to be noticed and if you want your own content if you want your own authentic content to be noticed, you have to participate in these trends.
Right.
And
Right off the wave a bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Obviously, that's not everyone's cup of tea.
Of course.
But if that's the way, then yeah, we gotta
Yeah, that's fair.
right?
That's fair. I think it's interesting, and I mean, you'll see this in one of the episodes this season with Vozy, right? He and you met him. I mean, so we're recording this on Sunday. You met him 2 days ago at the Tamil meetup when he came in from Seattle, right? Him being a musician, but also a big like real estate entrepreneur, he's found himself where he's done just like music content that's like pretty hitty, pretty hype, that goes viral, right? That people discover him through that, come to his profile, and then see that he's also doing real estate and have reached out to him for real estate deals. So maybe to play back what you're saying, it's like, okay, there is some balance between using the viral moments, right? The viral trends to help yourself, your authentic self get discovered.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. Like, I like what you said, like about using the trends. Like, I 100% agree with that. Because even though, like, obviously some of us don't like the trends, I think of it as those trends is like the hook. Like, it's like the hook.
Yeah.
Or
it's like people are intrigued and so they click in.
Yeah, it's like the hook, or it's leading them to see who you are.
It's a discovery.
Yeah.
That's how people discover you. Yeah,
like
of course. Of course.
It's like the road to who you are.
Right.
So I think that's the positive side of these trends.
Yeah.
Like doing these trends is going to lead them to seeing who you are.
But to that point, if you don't have authentic content, engaging content in there already, there's no point leading people to your profile as well.
There isn't. And you're not, I mean, of course, I respect people that are very consistent with the trends and on top of it and post it once it's out.
Yeah.
Like, that's not easy.
That's
you have
true.
to be on top of that. You have to really be on top of it.
You have to notice it before other people notice it.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do respect people that do that.
Yeah.
But authenticity is what this community is about.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So we've talked a lot about the community, right? And you briefly were mentioning what your Tamil community looked like growing up, right? And now, I mean, of course, in Staten Island and with the Staten Island Tamil community, I know it's very strong, right? And there's a lot of Tamil people who grew up here in New York. But I know also you spent a lot of time in Toronto. I actually don't know, but I assume you've probably spent time in London or know people in London.
Yeah.
What has your experiences been with, of course, the Tamil communities in these cities, and how does that compare to what you've seen so far in New York?
Yeah.
There.
So obviously, I feel like every Sri Lankan Tamil person has some sort of relative in Toronto. That's just a thing, right? I've only been to London once, but I do have family in London and other parts of Europe. But me and my family, we used to travel to Toronto every year to visit our family. So that's how I started to pick up on the culture there and pick up on the Tamil community there. Really familiarize myself with what they have that we don't have.
Sure.
Community here. And I remember I used to always be like, oh, like, I wish I lived in Canada, or I wish I lived in Toronto.
Right.
Specifically because of the Tamil community, because it's so big. Like, you could never go anywhere without like seeing a Tamil person. Like, there's always a Tamil person.
In Toronto.
Yeah, in Toronto, everywhere. Like on the train, on the bus, at a store, like they're just everywhere.
Yeah.
So you just can't talk shit in Tamil basically in Toronto. Like, you just can't. Like, someone will hear you. But yeah, their community is so big, and I was always inspired by that. I was always like, I want to be like Toronto. I want to be like the Tamil community in London or parts of Europe.
And you've spent time in London or no?
I've actually only been to London once.
Okay.
But through social media, like, I've met a lot of people
of course
on social media from Europe, and I just live vicariously through that.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, like I said, the goal, and not even just the goal, like kind of their communities like influenced me in so many ways. And I would always tell myself, like, I wish we had
so many Tamil people or a bigger community like London, like Toronto, like parts of Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia.
Of course.
That's just the goal. Like the goal is to bring those people together here in New York and kind of like be like Toronto, be like London, and then bring them together as well and just grow as like one universal like community. But yeah, like I said, I mean, now I feel like through arrambam and through all these dance workshops and the content that we're creating, these the Tamil community in Europe and in Toronto and other parts of Asia are noticing us. Like I will have people in my DMs, like from London or Toronto, saying like, "Oh my God, we want to come to New York. We didn't even know there were Tamil people in New York. We want to come here. We want to support the community. We want to host events here."
Right.
And I'm just like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, like it's just crazy. It's like one day, like I wished to be like them, or I wish for a community like theirs. And now it's like,
they want to come here.
Right?
Right.
Now the tables have turned and now they want to come to New York.
Yeah, of course.
So,
I mean, again, New York's the best city in the world. So why wouldn't they?
Like, that's not even an opinion. That's just straight fact.
Of course. Yeah. Nice. And I mean, to that point, you've been to a lot of events in Toronto, right? I assume, or?
No, actually, no. I haven't.
Okay.
I just been to like couple like recently,
okay,
but I just like look through social media and like through my family, like my
family of course,
part of involved in that. And they would just like like show off and like talk about it. I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, you guys have everything.
Now you can show off everything we're doing here.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah. So to that point, let's wrap things up here. So I have a few rapid fire questions for you, but the last kind of major question I want to ask is what's next for Krish? What's the future looking like for you?
What is next for? That is a hard-hitting question, Hari. That's like,
I'm all here for the hard-hitting question.
Taking the SAT and it's like your like college essay question. Right. Like, what is next for you? And I'm just like, oh, I don't know.
Why are you applying to the school? What are you going to
the real reason, or should I write the reason my parents will be proud of, right?
Or what the application admissions officers want.
Admissions office would want.
Right.
But what is next for me? Honestly, I don't even know. I am not a planner.
Okay.
I don't plan things. I just go with the flow.
Okay.
But if I was to give like a solid answer, if I was to give a solid answer to your question, I would just say to keep growing, whether it's creatively, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, whether anything, or financially. Like I would just say to keep growing and to be that person that someone out there will say, like, want to be like Krish. Like that's cool. Like I want someone out there to be like, this girl Krish, like I want to be like her.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't even have to be like 100 people, like one person.
Right.
If one person can say that to me, I will die happy. I will die happy.
Nice. I like it. More dance content, more dance workshops.
Yes.
I mean, maybe here in America, but also maybe across the pond.
Yes.
Fingers crossed. Again,
I should know. Like, yeah.
Hopefully you're here first.
Oh yeah.
At some point.
Sure.
But okay, nice. I'm excited. Okay, the rapid fire questions. Also, first off, so I know you have a longer full name, right? So why did you choose Krish? And I think at some point, like now you're known as Krish. That's who it is. I don't even know your last name to that point. And you probably told it to me before, but like, first off, what is your full name, if you don't mind sharing? And second off, why did you choose just Krish? That's your like brand name now?
I'm not gonna lie. This is, I think, my favorite question.
Okay.
Yes. My full name is Krishni Al Sundram.
Okay.
It is very long. My last name's 12 letters. Obviously.
I mean, also to that point, I need to add some personal note is I know some of your personal childhood friends, right? In some way, different ways. And they always have referred to you as Krishni.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is Krishni?
I know. Yeah.
And I was like, and then I realized that I made the connection. Yeah. So that's why I had to ask.
All my Staten Island friends know me as Krishni. But once I started my creative platform and got more into social media, that's when I joined it to Krish.
Okay.
So of course, every South Asian kid has a problem where nobody can pronounce their name. Right?
Of course.
I was in that spot.
Yeah.
I was always in that spot. No one was ever able to pronounce my name. Still, people can't even pronounce Krish, which God help you.
That's like
God help you.
excessive. Like,
I mean, it's
Krish
not
is a
that
very easy name to say.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
like Krish, like Kri, and then like it's not that hard. But God help people. But yeah, so the name already was very long, and I didn't want to. I always thought like if people like I wanted a name that people will remember.
Yeah.
Right. Like no one's gonna remember Krishna syndrome. Like no one's gonna go around and be like, "Are you going to Krishna syndrome workshop?" Like who's gonna remember that? No.
I mean, it's unique.
It is unique, but who's got the memory span to
For
remember
sure.
that,
For sure.
right?
That's fair. Yeah, they're gonna shorten it in some way, shape, or form.
Exactly.
It's like Krish Amal, right?
Krishna. Like who the hell?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so once I started, so yeah, in college was when people started shortening my name to Krish.
Okay.
And people would be like, "Hey, Krish, what's up, Krish?" And I felt like picked up on that. Like I didn't even think of telling people to call me that in the first place. Like some of my friends picked up on that and said, like, gave me that name, that nickname. Like, "Hey, Krish, what's up, Krish?" Whatever. And I'm just like, "Oh my God, Krish, like the superhero, like Hrithik Roshan Krish. Like, is that the vibe we're going for?" Like, I'm cool about it.
You're the female Hrithik Roshan.
Exactly.
Right.
But yeah, so that's how the short name started. It was in college, and my friends called me Krish. And then when I started the creative platform and posting more on social media and took it more seriously, I just stuck with Krish because it was simple, it was to the point, and it added character to who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And I just maybe I just wanted to feel like Beyonce, like Beyonce. Like what's Beyonce's last name? Like we don't know. But
Yeah, that's
maybe
true.
I wanted to give like Beyonce about a Krish. Beyonce Krish. Like Krish.
Hey, yo.
Like when I go places, like I will literally
Krishance.
be like, it's just Krish.
Krishance.
Krishance.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's just how it started. Like it's just simple and easy.
Nice.
Straight to the point.
Okay. I like it. Nice. Now you're just known as Krish.
Yes. Yeah.
Why Krish with 12 H's in your username?
So my username before that was really cringe. It was official Krishni. And this is like in high school.
Okay.
So I thought I was so cool. I was like, let me do official Krishni. And that name was taken.
Official Krishni was taken?
Yeah. So I was like, who the fuck
who is official Krishni?
Who is official Krishni here?
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. So I put like a official Krishni with like an X in the middle somewhere.
Okay.
And then
so Krishni?
I just thought that name was like cringe, like official Krishni. Like, who the hell do I think I am? Like, I'm not a billionaire. So I was trying to think of like another name. And I saw this like one person, I don't want to say who, but his or her username was like his name with like 10 ends at the end.
I like how you said his or her and then you said his name.
His name was like 10 ends at the end. And I was like, whatever, he's watching this, whatever. And I was like, okay, let me like do that. Let me just take that name, like Krish with like, I literally started adding H's.
Oh, really?
Like 2 H's, it was taken. 3 H's, it was taken.
No way.
Yeah, they were all taken up until 12 H's.
No, 11 H's were taken?
Yeah. So
no way.
12 H's.
Okay.
But then I was like, okay, hold on. This can like be symbolic because my last name has 12 letters.
Oh.
So let me like be like Hrithik Roshan Krish with like 2 R's or whatever. And say like, let me make that the story. Like my last name has 12 H's. So let the 12 letters.
Right.
So let me do 12 H's.
Okay.
That's how it is.
And then, I mean, it's iconic, right? Like when I like tag you on it, like you did workshop for us when I was tagging you and I was like, wait. And then it's like, okay, yeah, it's clearly Krish. It's like all the H's.
Tell people too. I literally tell people like it's Krish, but like put like 10 H's and then on my profile pic is a picture of me in a langa. Like that's it.
That's it.
Right. Like tell them.
Yeah, of course. Okay, nice. Okay, last rapid fire question. So in New York City, so in Times Square, if you had the opportunity to put up a billboard that 1 million people would see every day, what would you want it to say?
If I had to do one thing, honestly, hashtag Elam Pride, hashtag Tamil Pride, hashtag Tigers all the way.
I love it. Sweet. Awesome. to have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
There's so much more to talk about.
Mhm.
And as you do what is next for you,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be some new experiences that you're going to have that we're going to like jump into. So I'm excited. But again, thank you for joining us for the first season.
And I'm excited for your show and everything as well. And thank you for having me.